It is on. Hello
Hello.
from Maramiga Onsen.
Welcome to Onsen Ripples edition, or was it volume
49.
49.
49.
There we are. How you doing, everyone?
Hello.
Out there in
Oh, there you go.
in
We got a special guest, Elvis.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say I want you back.
Priscilla.
One night.
Is that it?
No, well, I could go into it a little bit. Well, Lord. Hey, do you get blocked for doing like songs from other places?
I don't think so.
Well, I want to be blocked.
Don't say stuff like that. Knock on the wood.
No, that's so cool though, you know. I don't think Elvis is a blocker though, is he?
I don't think so.
I think there's Elvis everywhere, including Afro Elvis.
Hello.
Pretty good. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much. I'd like you to get me a donut and a hamburger.
I've seen that one before on the Australian TV show.
Yes, that was a long time ago.
Hey, it's Saturday.
Yes, it was.
Do you know that show? How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to Onsen Ripples. This one is, as we said, it's 49. And last week we did talk about onsen social network places like Facebooks and YouTube, and also Instagram and Line and all those things. Yes. And we do get messages from here and there, which is really nice. And it's from Australia, from England, from other places, Korea, and all those places. So thank you for sending us messages. And you can always send us message, say hello, or what you need, or whatever it is. That's nice, thank you. Oh, that's mom. That's my mother. Yep. So that's that. And today we are gonna talk about people who wants to come to Japan, of course, or already live in Japan. Hello.
Hey,
Back.
what's happening?
Yes, we're just saying that we had the social network thing last week.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And we're getting messages from here and there, like Korea and Australia. So I guess people are interested in coming to Japan.
Yeah.
Which is a quite popular destination.
And there was something in the paper yesterday, was it, or the day before yesterday, that said something along the lines of there are more tourists in Japan now than like prior to COVID, right?
Yeah.
Like as soon as they open the doors back in. Yeah, so it's like even the tourist has gone up. I'm out of breath from running that.
Calm down.
I need to calm.
Breathe in, breathe out.
I'm going to just like, can you grab my cup of tea, please?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, darling.
There you go.
Got myself a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So what's the microphone for?
I don't know, it's just a look.
I like it.
Yeah, just having a company. There you go.
Just the three of us.
Just the two of us and a little one.
Yeah, so so that's good that we're getting all the tourists back, and we're good. We're doing this show too for people who are interested in onsens, and we're doing it in English. Not that it could be a universal language, I don't know, but
a lot of people
pretty much
speak
a lot of people
English.
speak it.
Yeah.
And
So if you want to know anything about living in Japan or traveling in Japan or about onsen,
are we the experts?
not the expert, but we've done it.
Yes, we have. And so send your questions in, do all that. We've had quite a few people ask. Some people were asking about me though.
Yeah, a bit curious why you end up in onsen in Hokkaido.
Let's do a proper interview then. You can do the whole, you can be the interview. I'm going to be the rock star here.
Why do you have to be a rock star?
It's an interview.
All right, it is an interview.
How do I look? Is that right?
Yes. So, first of all, want to know, when did you come to Japan?
Oh, really? I'll take these off because I can't see anything. That was a long time ago, a very long time ago. 1993, I think it was. That's 30
years ago.
It was 30 years ago today. And you look like Sergeant Pepper. Sergeant Pepper thought a band to play. That's a nice top you got there.
Thank you. Keeps me
I
warm.
don't know. You look
I
like you're
like
going to
it.
march in there.
Where's my drums? Yes.
Yeah, so that was
It's been 30 years.
a quick interview. I'll tell you the Claude story.
I'm curious too.
Really? You were there?
Let us know.
So it was 30 years ago, so you can try and guess my age. That's all right. How does that happen? How does that 30 years go like that?
Like that.
It's very. I just finished university, just graduated from university, and in Melbourne at the time, Victoria, the state that I was from, our nice little government decided to axe a lot of teaching jobs. Thousands and thousands of teachers were out of work, and guess what? I just graduated with an English degree in English to be an English teacher, and they were axing job left, right, and centre, and people thought I was crazy, and. What are you trying? And a lot of the graduates that came with me, they all decided that they were going to do different things and this and that. Whether it was the computer industry was just taking off. Now this is a long time ago. For people out there, 30 years ago, there was really no internet or anything like that. There was
not even Hotmails yet.
No, I did have an email address, and that was great. I thought this is so cool, but I had no one to talk to. Because no one else had it. I had a few university buddies. And a couple of people in the States who are also from a university and stuff, like the professors. And I'm like, well.
Do you want to talk to them?
Well, yeah, I was just graduated. I just said goodbye to all of them. And now it's like, well. But so there was no emails and things like that. We were still doing the old writing letters and stuff.
Yeah.
And a couple of people were traveling, thinking of going overseas for a little break. And a friend of mine was planning to go for travel indefinitely, which is like, you did things like that back then. Yeah. And I think also with living in Australia, well, it was a little bit, I think she had planned she was going to go with her friend and do this and this and this and that, and it was all situated around Europe and stuff like that. And I don't know how it really it took off. I didn't speak any Japanese. I knew a lot about the Japanese culture, of course. That was, just because I knew.
Yeah.
I was very interested in Japanese history before. That was in high school too. So I knew all about the shoguns and the Edo periods and things like that.
Okay.
And just because that was interesting. But not only Japan, I was a lot of history stuff I was very interested in. And just at the time, I think someone said something about Japan, and in 1993 it was a different time, so Japan wasn't really on top of everyone's list.
I remember around that time there's not many foreigners coming to Japan,
and if they did come, it was very like, I'm coming here for this reason only, especially. So it wasn't it was a strange thing. It just popped into my head. And I thought Tokyo is such a melting pot that if, we went to Tokyo, then, she could find some travel buddies to go to here and there and maybe do the Siberian trek or something interesting like that. I wasn't interested in traveling at all, really. I was just going to go just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And Japan just popped into my mind, and I mentioned it to a few people, and they all thought, you're crazy. Why would you want to go to a country that is so hard to travel around because no one speaks English? That was the image that we had in Australia. And the second one was, it was very expensive. Everything was always going to be super, super expensive.
Well, compared to Australia 30 years ago, things were very expensive here. Or I would say Australia, everything was cheap.
Yeah.
So cheap for us.
Yeah, well, that was the thing too. So in Australia, I guess the way the money and thing was back in 30 years ago, America was expensive, London was expensive, and Japan was expensive too. A lot of people were thinking of traveling to places where you get good value for money.
Yeah.
And the other thing about traveling in Australia before the internet sort of took off and stuff like that was the idea that if you were going to travel, because Australia is quite far away from everywhere else, that it wasn't going to be a weekend trip. If you were getting on a plane, it was going to be kind of at least 3 or 4 weeks, or, you know. So that idea, I think, was very already there in Australia. If we go to America, you can't just go for it. It was expensive, and you know. So
If you're
basically,
gonna go, you might as well stay for a while.
yeah, and you save up your money and you go and whatever. I did, which I didn't do any of. I was doing all right. I just got out of university. I'd already landed a job, which was one of the few people who graduated that did. And I had my music thing going, which was very, very, very good at the time.
Yeah, he was doing the tour in
Tours,
Australia.
yeah, it was quite popular little bands, and we were getting paid quite a bit for it. And it looked like the way that I was going to go.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, look, what the hell? Let's just take a little break and travel, because if my music takes off or the teaching takes off or something like that, then I'm going to be stuck in a pattern. So if I was going to travel, it was going to be now. And
You took the chance.
I did. Just said, right, Japan sounds good.
Yeah.
Which
Sounds
is
good. We must as well go.
It could have been anywhere. It really could. It was a random choice. I didn't really think about it too much. It could have been Singapore. It could have been New Zealand.
Yeah.
It could have been anywhere. But it was. I don't know if I believe in fate or anything like that, but it definitely was. And I picked Japan, and it was funny. I went to the Australian consulate to think, you know, someone told me something about, oh, well, they're like, you know, if you can get like little flags or little
Australian flags and stuff.
yeah, things
as
like
a souvenir.
yeah, to give out to people that you meet. I thought, well, that's a good idea. And I walked in the Australian consulate, and they said, well, you're a teacher. You know, there's a lot of jobs going there, and you know, you're entitled to this little package. And they gave me a whole bag of a whole bunch of Australian things, little pins and kangaroo. It was all very nice. Thank you for that. And I don't know why I went to the Australian, but I went there, and they said, you know what else? You can get a 3-month working holiday visa. And I was like, what? And I was like, really? And they said, yep. You can stay there for 3 months, and you can even get a job under this. And I can't even speak Japanese. Yeah, sure. Why not? I can get a job working in a Japanese company. That was my mentality. And you know, there's all the internet. You can find out things now, but back then you just really couldn't.
Nah. It was just books you have to get and read.
Not even, and it was, you know, getting books and stuff from another country. So
it was like a Lonely Planet and
stuff.
stuff.
That was about it. I did have some Lonely Planet stuff. But I opened up my passport, they stamped it, and they said, right, you got 3 months. You don't have to stay for 3 months. You can nothing. Oh, well, I got it, I might as well.
Yeah.
And I got on a plane with a T-shirt, a leather jacket, and an acoustic guitar, just in case I got bored.
Just in case.
And you know, I look back at it now. It was you could do that.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the other big thing about Japan, which attracted me, was the fact that I always felt safe doing that. You know, I've never felt kind of, geez, I'm going to be stuck here without any money and things. And it was a return trip, so I could always jump on the plane if I got it. But I always felt really comfortable. It was never, and it's partly because it's me.
Yeah,
I don't really
your character is like that.
I don't really have.
You know, he's got this friendly smile. He can get by anywhere he goes.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know, a little bit of luck. Yeah, and I make friends pretty quickly. So, but yeah, that was quite. It was challenging, and I got on the plane, and
it's like you don't speak any Japanese.
I wasn't intending on staying. I wasn't intending on getting a job. I just wanted to come out and clear my breath for a little while, clear my air, get a new perspective on things before I started my new life after university.
Yeah. And somehow end up staying in Japan. Didn't even go back to teaching job in Australia.
No, I didn't, did I? No, that was pretty bizarre. Don't know how that happened. I'll tell you how that happened. The very first day, I did have someone who knew someone who knew someone who'd been living in Tokyo. So that's how it all kind of worked out. And I said, yeah, well, I'll go and check in on them. And they said, well, you can stay until whatever, you get your hotel or so that was good. But trying to find the place was quite interesting. There was really nothing in English, and I had all these new signs. And I treat all that sort of stuff as fun. And my traveling partner wasn't too impressed, but yeah. But I had a ball. It was like, I am totally lost. This is great.
Let's enjoy it.
So yeah, I'm in another country with like absolutely no language skills, and it was very fun. It was a lot of fun for me, and went to the apartment. It was this tiny little cramped place
It's like the typical image
of Japan, and this is
at that
exactly
time.
what I got. And I thought, wow, well, this is exactly what people said. And I think there was a shop downstairs that had a coffee, and coffee was like $5 or something like that at the time, which was quite crazy.
Yeah.
It was a very nice coffee. But yeah, so I did that. And he was working in a bank, which he spoke
Yeah.
Japanese, and he was doing some kind of thing. And he was giving me all the local thing. But yeah, he didn't really go out of his apartment that much. And he kind of went to work and came back, and I thought, But the next day he said, I'm going off to work. Yeah, feel free to look around or whatever if you get it. We didn't even have mobile phones then.
Nah,
nothing.
not at all.
Nothing at all. So he's like, stay in the apartment or else you'll get lost. And, like I listened to those things.
Yeah.
And the very first thing I did was open up the newspaper, and there were a lot of jobs. There was like, wow, look at this. Yeah, teaching English. That seemed to be there. And I thought to myself, hey, how many people go to Japan and, they see all the shrines and the temples and that, but how many people go for a job interview? That'd be fun. And I closed my eyes and I went, blunk. Now, I'm not joking. I opened the paper and I just went, this is going to be so much fun. And picked up his phone and called a number.
Yeah.
And I said, I'd like to go for a job interview.
Just for fun.
Just for fun. And yeah, so the story goes on. They gave me the address for the place and I got totally lost.
Yeah. As you would.
And actually my friend had suits and stuff, so it was about the same size. So I just took one of his suits and put it on just for fun. Took an empty briefcase. I wanted to
Oh, wow.
have nothing in the briefcase except my wallet and my passport, and just walked down the street and got totally lost. I think I was 3 hours late for that interview.
Yeah.
And by accident, I found the building. I was asking some people on the street, do you know where this is? They're like, oh. And then I was standing right in front of it, and I said to the guy, excuse me, and he said, I speak English. And I was like, wow, yeah, do you know where this is? He goes, yeah, right there. And I was like, oh, wow. So I walked in and I said, I'm sorry, I'm 4 hours late. And they said, we've been waiting for you.
Patiently.
Not patiently, but so I went in and he said, oh, well, is this the interview? And I was already quite excited. And, I'd only just got off the plane. I'm in a new country, so I'm just buzzing. It's like, yeah, I'm just so excited, so happy to be here. And he said, well, we're going to do this interview on a video camera. And that was the first time I saw a camera about that size. And I'm like, wow, look at this camera. It's like, oh my goodness. I've never seen. He goes, oh, please don't touch the camera. It's like, oh, this is excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, do you want to...
Yeah, I'll go first. Keep talking.
I'll keep talking.
Yeah, there you go.
Lost you. So basically, I went in to the interview, and it was kind of. He said, "Please interview." I got all this stuff going on behind me. He said, "Please do the interview here. I've got to take it back to my boss because he's already left." And he goes up. Yeah, hi. We're just setting up here, some people walking around. So anyway, I'll continue with the story. So he said, please do the interview. I've got to take it back to my boss, introduce yourself and all that. And I was flying. I was like, well, this is great. My name's Claude and I do this and I do that. And anyway, the interview finished. And I went back to my friend's apartment, and there were all these messages there and faxes that came in, and he was like, this is all for you, Claude? And I was like, oh, what is it? And anyway, to cut a long story short, they basically said, well, you know, we can offer you a job. We can offer you a job right now, today. Hey. Hey. We're still going here. All this stuff happening. And we can offer you a job and we can give it to you right away. And I read the little information for it and was quite excited about my new life, which would maybe going for a job. Hey, you're back.
Yes. Going for a job.
Yes. And anyway, to cut a long story short, again.
Very long story. It's 30 years of history.
This is just the first day.
So much thing happened in the
Yes,
day.
to cut a long story short, he said, we've never seen anyone so exciting in an interview before. And the truth is I didn't really want the job. I was just doing it for fun. And then I read the details and everything was good. And I finally got back on the phone to him that night and I said, okay, well, I'm interested then, you know, this will be fun too, because it gives me, they said they'll put me through some training. They'll put me up in a hotel and do all this stuff. And I was like, well, that's really cool. And I was like, well, when? And he goes, well, you'll have to get on a plane and come to Hokkaido. And I was like, what? He goes,
Hokkaido?
Didn't you read that part? The job's in Hokkaido. And I was like, huh? So that's a whole nother story. So I thought,
This could be like a series.
well, you'll have to wait for the memoirs and the movie to come out for that one.
Yeah, let's make a movie.
But yeah, so just by chance again, from that little encounter, there was a chance for me to go and travel to Hokkaido. And I thought, wow, that wasn't on my trip. That wasn't on my schedule. And
Different island.
it was, and it was covered in snow, which I wasn't expecting.
With a t-shirt and jeans and leather jacket.
No, it was in February, and it was quite, and I'd never seen snow before, so that added to the excitement and the whole thing of being new and everything. So I'm getting these amazing experiences right from day one coming in, and this is not for everyone. This was just my personal thing.
Yes, and think about it. It's 30 years ago. It's a totally different world from right now.
Yeah.
No one's got mobile phone. No one's got internet. You know, there's
No.
not many. There's only a few foreigners living in Japan.
Yeah, and I chances of running into them were quite rare too. So
Yeah,
I was surrounded, and it was very good. But that's the type of personality that I had, that I wasn't scared, or I was taking everything, just like completely taking it in.
Yeah.
And I was very adventurous. I think I
think so.
yeah. And not being able to, well, they put me up in a hotel and I started the training, and you know, I met a few other foreigners, but again, they were all very focused. They'd all come here for a reason. They'd come here either to make some money or pay off student loans or go back home and buy a house, or
Yeah, there's a lot of
and then
time.
and then there was the other side of it. The other foreigners that were here specifically on cultural visas, either to learn martial arts or and learn the language and stuff like that. So it was very focused, and they had their thing. I didn't. I had nothing.
He wasn't one of those
I know.
people.
I came here and I was here, and my whole objective was to have fun and just, you know, experience whatever. So yeah, it was funny. Like even like walking home, you know, they brought their new places that they could get food and stuff like that. I had no idea about what to eat. I had a little guidebook that count numbers or general phrases, and I'd walk down the street and I'd just go, oh my goodness, that smells good. And then I just start opening air. Just
It's like cartoon. You just smell something and just follow that smell.
and it went down, and you know, there's
a nice restaurant.
yeah, and just like, wow, look at this, and you know, menus were all in Japanese. It was, and things like that. So I was just like, well, open it up. Oh, this, and this, and they'll be telling me that's the address, and I'm like, yeah, of course. And yeah, I think that idea of like not even worrying about making mistakes and stuff helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And I think
Just
the people,
purely having fun.
yeah, and the Japanese people are so nice. they didn't make fun of me. Well, they probably did, but I didn't. But yeah, I made a lot of Japanese friends very quickly because of that. And I'm not saying my foreign friends didn't have any Japanese friends, but they were very focused. They didn't really go out into the Japanese area, but I did. And so my whole first lot of experiences were pretty much like very, very Japanese in that way, which was really nice. It opened my eyes out to a lot of things that I wasn't expecting. And it made me like the place even more. Yeah. And, 1 week became 2 weeks, became 3 weeks. It was making it easier. And the more excited that I was getting, and, I was making more friends. And as you live in some place for a little bit longer, it becomes easier. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing that happened with me. The longer I stayed, the easier it became. And so making the next step wasn't really that hard. So for people out there who are traveling and stuff, if you do want to stay longer, I don't know. Yeah, you should try it. It's open. It's one of those countries where you can do that. Like I said, we always feel very kind of safe in most environments. I think that every country has a little bit of a danger or unsafety environment. And if you do silly things like go into dark alleys late at night without any,
do that.
Or in any country you wouldn't feel. But just generally with a lot of people around, they're helpful, and I didn't find that I was in any trouble or in any danger at any point. Yeah, and everything was a new experience. I had my eyes wide open to everything. And the senses, like I said, were very important. Smelling the food was great. And the eyes looking at everything. I wanted to pick up things and get the whole thing. And that's where the bath and everything came into it. That's a good way to live. I think you experience things that you don't expect. I think one good thing, and I love the internet and all that, but the one good thing was because we didn't have the internet back then, you just left yourself open to whatever, you had to experience it. Like there was no way of me typing something in quickly and finding out this is that, this is okay, this is what you do. It was like I had to find out by trial. Yeah. And so all those things, I think it's still now, even like last month we had the choir here from Thailand. And explaining all those things brought those feelings back into me. But they could always look on the internet and say, well, this is what it is. This is what the picture looks like. It's not the same. It's not the same. You don't
experience it. Put yourself in that situation that you just have to do it.
Yes. And one of the places that I did go down to and following my nose was a little restaurant. And that's where I met you.
Oh, that restaurant.
That restaurant.
The Mexican.
Yes.
Yes, I was working in a Mexican restaurant, which had a stage with all the music equipment.
Yes. And
that got your attention.
It got my attention right away. I was like, woohoo, and then saw her and then, whoa.
Hello.
And of course you spoke English, so it made things a hell of a lot easier for me. Almost to the point of lazy there for a little while. So,
lazy.
Well, yeah, I was.
How come?
Well, it was like, what does this say? You were like my internet back then. Press the buttons to Google. Yes, and of course, meeting other friends, meeting Japanese friends, and then of course you became a little bit more than just a friend. We ended up getting married.
Yeah. That's how you end up coming here in Hokkaido and Onsen.
The Onsen was kind of the last minute sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We were going to go back to Australia.
We did go back to Australia.
We did, but we're going to move to Australia.
Yeah.
To live.
So it's funny how those things happen. It's just like, like, I mean, I seriously did just put my finger down and pick at that.
That was the beginning.
It was like
the start of everything.
Yeah, everything's a sliding doors moment.
Yeah.
And
every day you make a choices of so many things, whether we're going to push this button to start or not push it.
Yeah. And it changes everything else around us all the time. And everyone else makes decisions that affect everyone else's decisions. And here we go. We're going in a little loop.
Oh, this ripples.
And it does. And we're hoping that this thing kind of ripples out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
was.
meet this person, that
Actually,
person.
we
Yeah.
got someone watching, quite a few people. Thank you. And
We've got the messages.
Yuko has sent a message saying hello, and she's with John. Hello, John. Thanks for
Yuko,
watching
John.
from
Hey.
Osaka.
Hey.
Yeah, and Saida-san, hello. Thank you for watching.
You've got all you're reading it there.
Yes. Yes, so if you have friends who wants to come to Japan and experience or traveling around, why don't you just say, why don't you stay longer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think people think of that possibility now. I mean, you have to really like lock up things at home and do all those things. I mean, touring is great, but especially for the younger people out there who haven't really like settled on something just yet, or even for the older people that think, well, I just need a little bit of change of life instead of the 2-week package tour or whatever like that. Just try and, if you can, take a little bit longer and
Like, for example, pick one place and stay there for a week or 2 weeks. So you're traveling, but traveling like living. You do stay there and make friends and experience this whole area. That's something different.
And that was another thing. Traveling like living is what I had to do, which is very interesting because when I first came here and everyone's saying it was expensive and things like that, it was if you tried to do or live the way you lived in your country. Because if I wanted to find like that style or a house that size or things that I did clothes and everything, that it was tough. And things like pizzas and that were so expensive back in 30 years ago. If I just wanted, and back home it was like, oh, we just had a pizza because I can't be bothered cooking. And it was just to go out or get it delivered or whatever. Here it was very different. It's different now, but back 30 years ago. So, a pizza was like, what, $70 for a pizza? What this better be the best pizza I've ever had. So it was expensive when you thought that way. But then if we went out and we lived, we ate things like sushi and ate things that Japanese people eat and the regular food, onigiris and stuff like that. It was like really very easy to do. It was very, and now of course all those foods are getting popular in other countries. But it was the same thing. If I tried to have sushi in Australia back in 30 years ago, okay, it was like, what, $70 for a piece of So it reversed both ways. But I didn't find it that expensive in the end. It was actually much of a muchness everywhere you go and what you do. It's up to you. You can live off the grid or you can live like a Japanese person, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
It's not that. But I think the biggest thing was like what I'm trying to say is like, the eyes open, ears open, nose open, especially for me. I love my food.
And mind open.
And mind open, of course.
Yeah. So speaking of living like, traveling like living, we had Carly from Australia a couple months ago.
We did an interview with Carly.
Yeah, so if you check out the previous ones, there's one interview with Carly, who's from Byron
It was
Bay.
like that volume 40 or something like that.
Something like that. So at that time, she was traveling around in Japan, but she used to live in Sapporo for a long time. She came back this year and she's decided to come back again to study Japanese again.
Right.
For a couple of months. And then after that, you never know what's going to happen. She might start living in Japan.
Again? You
never know.
Yeah. Well, that's it. She's open to it. And I think she's done a little bit of traveling and she went back home. She did that sort of stuff. And out of the blue, she's come back just for a holiday and decided, like, I'm just going to extend it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Made the plans. I mean, it's not, I think she's staying 2 months or something to begin with, to just do a course. Well done, Carly.
There's always, have an opportunity that you can do something like that.
And it's not even for singles. You bring, the family too. Yeah. Try it.
Kids, family,
and
yourself.
And this is where this is the other thing too. Now with all the technology and stuff, you can find out, you can get places, you can do like these, or so many opportunities are open to people doing like house swaps and all sorts of things like that. If you can, it just completely, everything's there. But I've had like really hardly any bad experiences at all. It's been just one great thing after another.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy about all of that.
Yes.
30 years later, and here we are, Onsen, working. You never know. Oh,
Internet.
internet, yeah.
We can communicate through here. So.
Yeah, I remember those
something
times.
different.
I used to have phone cards that we used to use, and it was like $10 for a phone card. And, you know, it was all right for making local calls, but I didn't have, no one really, I didn't know anyone. So I had to make international calls. And then you'd go out there and you'd put your phone card in. And of course, I'd call my mum. Hi, mum. Said, hey, dude, hey, we're not in at the moment. Remember those days of answering machine messages?
Yes.
Please leave a message and, you know, I'll get back to you. Dude, no, you can't get back to me. So I don't have a phone. Hope everything's all right. I'll call you in another couple of weeks. Dude.
Yeah.
I look at my card and that's it. $10 gone.
Yeah. It was like that. That was 30 years ago.
It was. Times have
Now
changed.
you have a phone and it's free to call. See the face and talk to them.
I know, like we're doing here. So, yep,
Yeah.
keep open to everything. And we're open to this too as well, all this new technology and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we're trying to say.
Is it?
Yes,
That's what it is then.
that's what it is then. I've been talking for 40 minutes
Uh-oh.
and I'm only on my first day.
I know. Well, there's more to come if you want to listen. All right,
That's
then.
another story. Wait for the book to come out and
And the movies.
Memoirs of Claude
Yeah.
and the movies. Part 1. It'll be like a Harry Potter thing.
Or Star Wars.
Star Wars. Oh God, we'll have to get the prequel.
Yeah.
That's
When you
a-
were born in India.
Oh, that's right. That's another
Yeah,
story there.
That's another story that you might be interested in.
The Indian side of me,
Ah, wow.
which also involves a lot of food, by the way.
And more different cultures.
Thank you
right.
guys for
Thank
watching.
you.
Sorry it's been so erratic.
It's
Yep.
so much fun though.
Yes, it is. Next time I'll be interviewing you.
Ooh, no.
You got a couple of good stories there. You've been everywhere traveling.
Not really, but
mean, never
if you have
went,
any
man.
questions that you want to ask him or me, you can just type in the comment and we'll talk about it,
Well, hopefully we can answer all of them too.
hopefully.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
All right, thank you.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.